Okay. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. It's so nice to see so many of you here. I'm sure it's because you're curious to know who's going to get the money for the grants, who's going to be in the Grow DC program, but it's so nice to see everybody here. I'm going to start moving along because we have a lot to get through. First on the agenda, we're going to hand it over to Lauren. She's going to give us an update about the whole Grow DC program. It's been going so well. I'm so excited about it. I'm so happy so many people signed up. So Lauren's going to tell us a little bit about that. Then we're going to talk about the 4-H Seedlings for Schools program. Cheryl Dixon is going to give us a brief update about what's going on at Bertie Bacchus. I'm not sure she's going to be here because she's at another meeting at the same time. So if she's not, I'll tell you about that. And Mary Beth Tinker is going to tell us about what's happening up on the green roof. Then Mary Beth is going to tell us about what's happening for the UDC Garden Club and Garden of the Senses. We're going to hand it over to Beth. She's going to tell us a success story about the ward reps. I have a very quick update about the announcement about the Sprouted Out newsletter that Aussie organizes, and then we're going to announce the grant recipients. And finally, we'll open it up to everyone. So I'm going to hand it over to Lauren. Just let me know when you need to skip ahead, Lauren.
Great. Thank you, Patricia. And hello, everyone. So I'm Lauren Ackel, and I completed my Master Gardener program in the fall. And the only reason I'm speaking tonight is because there are so many other people on the team that have been working on this. So a big shout out to Kate and Beth and Kyra and Diego to Patricia, because they have done so much on this with this effort. I just happen to be one talking tonight. So I'll go ahead and move along. When I completed my the program, I said, Patricia, tell me more about what the Master Gardeners are doing in the public school system. And she said, it's funny you should ask because a lot of people want to know and we have a lot of interest and we need to create a program. And I said, that sounds like something I'd be interested in. Let's go for it. So with the direction of Patricia and thanks to the help of the group of other Master Gardeners, we had a few phone calls, and in November, we kind of brainstormed about what a school Master Gardener program could look like. So that's kind of the background of how it came to be. I know there's a lot of Master Gardeners on this call right now that care about schools and wanted a connection. We thought we want it to be an effective, well-run program, so we have a great connection with the schools, and it's something that we can build on. So while we're starting with a small group of schools now, we hope it's a model that we can eventually grow. So let's do the next slide. So ultimately, the goal is to connect one Master Gardener with a public school. And the connection to the school is really not to run the school garden and take over and do all the weeding and pick all the plants and create a pollinator garden and build raised beds and do every last thing for the school. It's really just to support the school. So all the schools we partnered with have a garden coordinator, and all the schools we partnered with already have an established garden. So as the Master Gardener, what your role would be if you were to be matched with a school is simply to have a connection with that garden coordinator, be an additional expert that that garden coordinator can lean on, ask questions, when they have a challenge, you can help them troubleshoot. There's some things that the school that Master Gardeners have access to, like compost and seedlings and soil testing. So these are all things, that's the idea that the Master Gardener can help with. So that's the goal, that we're just a helper. Okay, next slide. And so with the pilot program, we have connected with 10 schools. There's a school in every ward. Ward 7 happens to have 3. And we now, fortunately, are at the point where we have picked and selected and secured all 10 schools. So go ahead and go to the next slide. So our 10 schools, you can see on the map here, are all over the city. The following slide will show you listed by name. But if you want to take a minute to, here we go. So if you want to take a minute to look at the map, so here's the list of schools. So we have, and officially we are recognizing our master gardeners that we have connected with the schools tonight. So, again, this is a pilot program. It is a work in progress. If we don't have things quite right, just tell us. We're going to learn and grow with you. But what we have right now is we have Bell High School and Lincoln Middle School. We have Nona is going to be the lead there with the support of Rebecca. School Without Walls, our lead there will be Janet. Murch Elementary, where we have Seth as the lead, and Karen, who completed her programming with me, will help support him. Brightwood, we have Katie. Sojourner Truth, we have Sammy. Eastern Senior High School, Kim. Houston Elementary, Kevin. Elsie Whitlow Stokes, Tim. And Erin lives also close to the school, so she'll be helping it out. Beers Elementary, we have Diane. And Simon Elementary, Yolanda. So that's our thank you. A huge thanks to the Master Gardeners that agreed to partner with the school. I'm excited to work with you. The whole Grow DC committee is excited to work with you. It's going to be an exciting effort. And so thank you. We can move on to the next slide, I think. And then just to give you an idea of how we're organizing the program, because no one is in this alone. We're all here to support each other. We created a committee, and on the committee is myself, as well as Beth Beers, Kate McLinn, and Kyra Moore. And then our oversight is provided by Patricia, who everyone knows well, and Diego. I don't know I think if everyone's on the call, Patricia, I don't know if you want to highlight, let everyone wave a quick hello.
Yes, let me see if I can do that. Hang on.
If that's possible. I'll keep going on if there's time for it. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide and we'll talk about next steps.
It's because there's too many people on the call and I can't find you all.
Oh.
I wasn't expecting so many people, but Beth, Kyra, Kate, where are you guys? Beth, Kyra, Kate, Lauren.
If they unmute, make noise,
Diego's here.
it might make you might be able to find them.
Yeah.
So we'll do the next slide. So basically, we found our schools. We found our Master Gardeners as our lead. We're going to make sure our Master Gardeners feel really well supported and feel like they have all the resources and information they need to have a successful connection with their school. So we're going to hold an orientation on March 3rd, where there will be more details. And if there's all kinds of questions about the program, you'll be welcome to ask those there. And hopefully if we haven't figured it out, you can help us figure it out. And then the other thing we're going to offer to the schools, either hopefully our Master Gardener volunteer can do it, or Kate is going to lead the effort on our committee team, is soil testing. We want to make sure the schools that we're helping out have good soil. And if they need soil amendments, we can help them with that. All of the schools we're working with will be getting a survey so that they can fill out the survey and we can kind of have a baseline of what the schools need and what they're hoping for. And if they are hoping for too much, we can manage the expectations. And if they're hoping for something that we can do a lot with, we'll make sure we let them know there's a lot we can do to help them. And then we're going to make sure that our Master Gardeners everything's going well with the school and with our Master Gardeners. So you'll hear from me or Beth or Kate or Kyra to make sure things are going well. And we'll have, check-ins and things like that. And at the end of the program, we're going to want your feedback so we know how to make it better and figure out how we can ultimately grow the program, because ideally we want to wouldn't it be amazing to have a Master Gardener at connected to every public school in the district? That would be amazing. So thank you so much to the whole team. Let me see, is there a last slide? Oh yeah. So if you're so passionate about it and want to participate, you can sign up and support the lead Master Gardeners who you saw listed, Seth and Sam, and then there will be volunteer days at the school. And if you're knowledgeable about something and someone solicits support or help in that area, sign up. And then again, next spring I have a feeling the gardens might need help in the fall as well. We have to figure it out, but if you're passionate and want to be connected with the school, the next Sign Up Genius that comes out, sign up and we'll see if we can't connect you with the school. So I think that's everything. I can look at the chat if there were any big questions. Yeah, so anyone else want to add anything? That kind of covers what I wanted to share.
Does anybody have any questions? Feel free to post them in the chat box. If you do, and I have another correction on a name. Yes, Kim, sorry, I'll make that correction too. Thank you. Thanks guys for pointing out the corrections. All right, and if you have any questions about the program, contact Lauren or Beth. And let's move on now to the next item on the agenda, the 4-H seedlings for schools. Are Cheryl and Mary Beth here? Feel free to unmute yourselves.
I am here. This is Mary Beth.
Hey, Mary Beth.
Yeah, hey. So that's great. What's going on with the school gardens, Lauren? A very nice report, and thank you for your work, and to Beth and Kate and Kyra and Patricia, Diego. So that's good. We're growing on the UDC greenhouse seedlings for the public schools. And then when the weather gets, and also we're going to be growing things for the downstairs gardens at UDC Van Ness campus. Also, we have some gardens over there too, some of you know about. So we've got collards and spinach, mustard, lettuce, various things we're growing. And the schools have requested different things. So we have pollinators and some herbs. And so anyway, yes, we're growing lots of things, and we'll be moving some of it to the schools, hopefully the middle of March. I think our project is going to have enough for 25 schools. And then Bertie Bacchus was going to be growing some also, and also East Capitol. So I'm not sure how that's all going, but anyway, so we'll keep trying to expand it. There's 260 schools, public schools in DC. So we've got a ways to go, but you know, it's a start. And there's other projects that also are in the schools, quite a few actually. So we're on our way. And if anyone would like to help, write to me at marybethtinker@gmail.com. I'll put it in the chat. And we'd love to have you help. We're there through the week and also on Saturdays.
Great, thanks so much, Mary Beth. Do you know how many schools you guys are growing for? How many schools signed up? Was it 38?
Well, what I said just now was, I think 25 were, but I'm not really sure. I think you and Diego are organizing that. So
yeah, I think there are 30. There were 38 schools signed up last I saw. So we're also growing at Bertie Bacchus. I don't think Cheryl's on, but the update is pretty much the same as Mary Beth. I think she started seeding the trays this week. I'm not sure. I think she's probably growing for about 25. I think it's the same amount that Mary Beth's growing on the green roof. If you're interested in volunteering or helping in any way, feel free to reach out to Cheryl or Mary Beth. I'm not sure what's going on at East Capitol, if they need volunteers over there. I know that Linda was involved with that. Linda, if you're there and you want to provide an update, feel free to unmute yourself and do that. If not, I'll try to find out about what's going on over there and tell you guys about it next time.
Great. So I think someone is asking, was it Barbara who's asking, what is the location? If you're talking about where is the seedling project, it's at the UDC main campus on Van Ness and Connecticut. So I'll put that up there with my email too. So anyway, that's it. And we've got lots of things that have been growing for some months. So some of it is bigger and some of it is smaller, but they're in all stages. So come on over, and it's very exciting, and we'll be glad to have your help.
Cool. Thanks, Mary Beth. And Barbara, they're also growing some at Bertie Bacchus in the greenhouse over there. All right. Mary Beth, do you have an update about Garden of the Senses or the Garden Club?
Well, that's mostly what we're doing. That is the Garden Club pretty much. And we're working on the green roof, and then we're getting ready to start on the downstairs project too. So it's all kind of combined.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Beth, are you there? Do you want to share your success story for the ward reps?
I'm here and I would love to. So hi, everybody. As most of you know, 2021 was a huge sort of growing year for the Master Gardener program. I think Patricia has done great work trying to provide structure and opportunities for us. And one of the things we talked about early on was, let's try to get a Master Gardener in each ward to sort of function as a ward rep. And I think we've been a little squishy about what exactly does that mean? What exactly do they do? Is there value added, or is it just another sort of bureaucratic layer? But again, we're sort of growing, we're learning, we're trying to figure it out. And in Ward 6, where I happen to be a ward rep, we had sort of a nice series of events come together that I think demonstrate how ward reps can add value and sort of help grow the program. So pictured on the screen right there is Vera Sisolak. She's a Master Gardener for many years. I think her status is emeritus. She's been around forever. She's extraordinarily active in Ward 6, primarily in Capitol Hill, and is a longtime member of the Capitol Hill Garden Club, past president, again, just, you know, one of the greenest thumbs in town. So I'm really lucky to have Vera in the ward. She's somebody who I reach out to early and often because she's always got her finger on the pulse. And as typically happens, at the end of last year, a community Girl Scout troop came to Vera and said, hey, look, I've got these middle school Girl Scouts, 8th graders, who need to do a big project before the end of the school year, and they want to do something involving plants. You know, very undefined. Maybe they want to start a food garden. Maybe they want to start a community garden. They just want to do something meaningful, and it has to be sort of meaningful enough that they get their scout badge. So Vera checked all of her traps, and I was one of the people who she reached out to and said, Vera said to me, I don't think the garden club really has the bandwidth to support these, but do you know anything else that's going on in the general area that might be able to fulfill the need that the Girl Scouts have expressed? And as luck would have it, I had also been talking to Thor Dodson, who is part of this recent cohort, the 2021 cohort of Master Gardener trainees. And Thor had wanted to get involved in putting native plant gardens in Garfield Park, which again, also in Ward 6, Capitol Hill, maintained by the city, in need of a lot of work. So Thor had reached out and gotten in touch with the Friends of Garfield Park and had gotten the green light to go ahead and work on some gardening projects there. Just because of those ongoing conversations, we were able to match up the Girl Scouts and Vera and Thor. Next Sunday, the Girl Scouts are going to do their first tour of the space and start making plans to update that space with pollinator gardens. Now, the added bonus to this connection that was made is I was able to, I didn't even have to coerce, it was barely an arm twisting, get Kyra involved, her work at the Bertie Backus Native Plant Nursery. I said, hey, Kyra, do you think you guys could be involved in helping us put some plants into this green space? And of course, Kyra is, you know, can do. So she will be meeting us with the Girl Scouts and Thor and Vera at the garden on the 27th. We're going to make a plan forward. And then hopefully these scouts will have some legacy they can leave behind when they leave their school at the end of the year, May, June. They will have populated these little brown patches of earth with some local pollinators and native plants. But again, just sort of highlighting the role of folks in the ward talking to each other, talking about planning, knowing where the needs are, knowing where the interests are, and sort of bringing it all together. I was just more than excited to bring that to Patricia as an example of how I think ward reps can be force multipliers, not just layers of bureaucracy. Happy to answer any questions.
Oh, that's so cool, Beth. Yeah, if anybody has any questions for Beth, please feel free to unmute yourselves. And I was just going to ask as well, Beth, how are we doing on the ward reps? Are there any wards where we need new reps, or how's everything going?
You know, we do have ward reps who have volunteered to step in each of the wards. I think depending on the nature of the request, some folks have more time and ability than others. So we were looking for new ward reps or additional ward reps for wards 4 and 5. Not that there aren't, in 5, we have Dr. Rodney Burton and Deborah Dixon, but I think that's a really large, there are a lot of master gardeners in that ward. So if there's somebody else who wanted to help them, I think that help would be welcome. Similarly, Ward 4 has a ton of master gardeners. And while they do have ward reps, Greg is one. I think there might be 2 others. If there are other people who are interested in sort of being the, sort of hub of the wheel, just sort of keeping the information flow, we would always welcome volunteers in that capacity. And you can, reach out to me via email. We can have a conversation about what's involved. Happy to do that. And you're right, Kyra, I have been very remiss. I've been giving you all the credit for the native plant effort, but you're right. Mike White has been extraordinarily supportive. And that is in spite of all the work that's being done there, all the other plates he's got that he's juggling. So Kyra and Mike White.
Cool. Thank you so much, Beth. All right, let's move on. So this, I'll give this some brief update. This is, most of you already know this newsletter, Sprout It Out. It's organized by Sam Ellery at Aussie. It's pretty much a compilation of different activities and resources and different things that are happening in the school gardening world in DC. It comes out every month. They just created a new little section called DC Master Gardeners Corner. And the idea is that every month a different Master Gardener would send in their gardening tips for the month. Last month, or in the February edition, we had a submission by Deborah Dixon. She kicked this off for us. It's really nice. There's a photo of her in it. She's highlighted in the newsletter. Anyway, so this is just a shout out to ask if anybody wants to sign up to be the highlighted Master Gardeners in the next few months. We don't have anyone in for March yet, and I'd love to hear from you guys. So just send me an email, or there's also like a sign up genius for it, but send me an email and I'll send you the link and we can go from there. And if you have any questions, feel free to, send them in the chat box or email me or whatever. Okay, now for what I think a lot of people have been waiting for. I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of background first. Hang on, let me do something here because I can't see you all. All right. So the Master Gardener grants. In December 2021, we launched a call for proposal for proposals to support gardening projects. The grants per project maximum would be 4,200. We wanted to prioritize projects in Ward 7 and 8, and the funds came from Council Member Mary Che. The money was secured by several Master Gardeners, including Mary Beth Tinker, Kesh, I'm not going to try to pronounce her surname, so I'm going to get it wrong, Kathy Sykes, Andy Davis, Seth Tievsky, Marianne Holmes, Mike Beller, Daphne Humphrey, Deirdre Carr, Kathleen, Kate McLean, Julia Smith-Pinney, Paul Hess, Christina Burnett, and Mariotto. So thank you so much for those Master Gardeners. They did a wonderful job securing the funds. Thank you also to Councilmember Mary Che. And I'm really excited that we are actually making something happen with this money. So let's see what's happening here. Che, are you on the call? If you'd like to unmute yourself, please do so and I'll pass it over to you. If not, I'll keep going. So we received 13 proposals for different projects. The review committee met last week, and this week they've been working hard to select the projects, to vet the projects, to compare the information. It was a pretty hands-on process for them, and they really dedicated themselves to it. And they selected 5 projects out of the 13. They evaluated the projects based on whether the projects would be implemented in Ward 7 and 8, whether they would benefit residents in Ward 7 and 8, whether the projects addressed food security, whether they had community support, whether they involve multiple stakeholders. This was a really important one, including if the projects included other master gardeners, community organizations, schools and civic organizations, and in general, if it benefited the wider community. If the projects had adequate timelines and budgets and, were a strong proposal. If they had a succession plan. So for example, we didn't want the projects to start and stop now. We want them to be exist in the long term. So if they had like a sustainability plan for the project, and they also were looking to select a diverse set of proposals. So for example, they didn't want to fund for school gardens. They wanted to fund, a school garden, maybe a house of worship, an urban farm garden, a diverse set of proposals. So I think the next slide already is, if somebody wants to unmute themselves and give me a drum roll, I would appreciate it. I'd also say that if you guys want to all unmute yourselves, I would love to hear. This is something you don't get on Zoom. You don't hear the cheers and the cries and the, feel free to unmute yourselves and make some noise.
Yeah.
Here we go. First project to be funded is Growing a Food Forest. Marvin Gaye.
look.
Daddy, what was the
Yay.
It's on a drum roll.
Tim,
Good
Tim,
job.
we're doing it, man.
Woo!
Tim.
Well done, Barbara. Barbara, are you on the line?
Good
Would you like to say
job.
something?
That's the one.
Daddy, what
Oh
you say?
man, I'm so glad
Mm-hmm.
Tim's on this
Big-
call
big
because
one.
Tim and I were talking about this nonstop for like 7 hours that he spent with me last Saturday, and we were dreaming about this
Yep.
proposal. Right, Tim? Oh my
Yes,
God.
yep.
Hi.
I can't
Hi,
believe it.
sweetie. Hi.
Hey!
Anyway, yes, I'm very happy.
Good job.
Very cool, very
I feel
cool.
like I just won the Oscars.
I'm going to read out a little summary about what this project is. The goal of the project is to provide more accessibility to fresh fruits and vegetables to local residents and to serve as a demonstration garden for those interested in forging a sense of excitement and greater connection between our dinner table and where our food comes from. The project will expand food production at Marvin Gaye Greening Center in the Deanwood neighborhood of Ward 5 by creating a food forest. The grant will fund purchase and installation of perennial fruits and vegetables and of espalier trellises, a continuation of annual crop of greens and vegetables this spring, a creation of a vegetable washing station that will help keep the produce fresh and full distribution, which is actually so important. And the review committee was really like, they were like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. They should definitely, because food safety and is so important. Establishing a native pollinator garden to attract beneficial insects. So all around a really fantastic project. Congratulations, Barbara. Really excited that this is.
We're super excited. Thank you, Patricia. Thanks for everything you do. Wow.
All right, next project, drum roll. Sorry, my cat. Crazy. And the next project is Watching Our Garden Grow, Charles Houston Elementary School. Well done, Kevin. This is another project in Ward 7, 4,200 for
Good
this
job.
project. Well done. They were also really excited to fund a school garden, so excited. The goal of this project is to provide the students with the necessary tools to work in the garden. Once the demonstration gardens are running successfully, the second phase of the project is to get production gardens up and running to provide fresh produce to the students and the surrounding community. Very cool. Where's Kevin? Let me see if I can pin Kevin. Kevin, are you here?
I'm right here.
Hello, hello.
This is very exciting news. Very excited to get started on this project. I've been talking with Miss Sherry Jones there at Houston Elementary for quite some time. She's going to be excited to get this news and to get things running. We have our plan in place, and we're ready to get started, ready to get rolling.
Very cool, very cool. Thank you so much. And you're also, that's one of the schools that's getting some seedlings from the 418 program as well. So I know that there are a lot of connections happening there.
Yep.
Very cool. All right, next drum roll. Moving on, the next project to be funding is the Ward 8 Community Garden. Naomi sent this proposal in. Well done, Naomi. Let me see if I can pin you at pin. Well done. This is a project for a new community garden in Ward 8. 3,600 is going to this project. Would you like to say a few words about the project, Naomi, or should I read it out?
I can say a few words. So we are really excited. it's at the end of our block, and our neighborhood civic association and our local ANCs have really been working together to try to find a way to have more food security in the neighborhood and also green the spaces, create pollinator gardens. And so we've been working together to look at what that can look like for that space in our neighborhood. Yeah, go ahead. Noah.
Okay.
Yeah, this
I'm
one.
Naomi's husband, so I've been in the background this whole time. And we are fortunate enough to have a backyard, and we have a garden. We have a lot of neighbors and community members that would walk by, give us tips on how to plant.
Mhm.
A lot of people that immigrated, or a lot of community buy-in.
Mhm.
And we've always wanted something for everyone that walks by our property to have something of their own, right? And so this is just,
Yeah.
it was much needed, and thank you guys.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Oh, thank you guys for submitting a great proposal. This is so happy that we made this happen. And this was, I don't know, you, Naomi submitted the proposal, and then at the last minute we were like, man, we need the letter. We need to secure the land. We need to secure the land. So we've been working with Naomi to see if they could secure the land at the last minute, because we couldn't grant the money without them having the signed access to the land. So everything was like at the last minute, and thank you, well done. And I'm really excited about this project. You guys, this is going to be really so needed in Ward 8. It's going to be wonderful. All right, next drum roll. No Waste Here, Hillcrest Community Garden. It's a compost project led by Alison Saunders in Ward 7, and they're requesting $3,036. Is Alison here? I know that Diane is here, and she's the garden manager over at Hillcrest. Is Alison here?
I don't think she's on the call.
Is
I
that
asked her.
Diane?
Yes,
Hey, Diane, how you doing? Would you like to speak on her behalf?
yes, I can. We have one of the community gardens that were the recipients of the compost bins. But the community gardeners in our community garden, we only have 14 beds, are all women, and most of them are older, well, over 40. Well, maybe some of them are older than that, but anyway, mixing the compost and keeping it at the temperature it needed to be was really, really hard. So we wanted to get something, one of those contained compost bins, so that we could turn it easily and engage more of the gardeners, so we could create more compost and then share it with the people. And because we have the civic association that meets at Hillcrest, and we have all of the kids that play on the playground. So we had a community, but we just needed to do a better job of producing compost. And that's not what we haven't been doing that. And so then we had our, this pandemic and this last snow just ruined all of our container gardens that we had around pots. So we were going to use that to replenish that, but it's all about compost. Really.
Wonderful, thank you. I'm going to read the little abstract that Alison had said.
Allison said,
The goal of the project is to produce viable, safe compost for improved crop production, educate gardeners on compost production and use, encourage education about composting in the Hillcrest community of Ward 7, reduce the volume of waste generated and disposed in landfill by diverting scraps and waste from 14 boxes and families of 14 gardeners. And Alison is an amazing composter. She's a master composter. I can't think of anyone better to lead this program. So I'm really happy that they got this award as well. And congratulations, Diane. I'm sure you're going to be working closely with Alison. So very happy.
thank you.
Okay, this is the last project. Well, sorry, one more project, so drum roll. And the last project we are going to be funding is the Sixth Church Food Closet Garden Startup. The project is being led by Sharon Lavalley. And they're getting $3,000 for this project. Sharon, are you there? Do you want to tell us a little bit about the project?
Sixth Church Food.
Yeah, I am here. Let's see if I'm on mute. Let's see.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, the short story is the Sixth Church Food Closet Garden started during the pandemic. Kyra, if you're there, you know, this came out of the Fort Stevens Community Garden. During the pandemic, we ended up donating lots of food to the food pantry that the Sixth Church on 16th Street runs to the food pantry. And things started slowing down because the education plot went back to educating kids, which was great. We contributed from our plot, but the folks at the food pantry there at the church said, gosh, you know, we have a lot of this grass and land. It would be great if we had a garden to supply the food pantry. And that's what this is all about.
That's great. Thank you. I'm going to read a little bit from the abstract that you sent in. The primary project goal is to create and operate a vegetable garden for the 2022 season to supply fresh produce to the 6th Church Food Closet. The 6th Presbyterian Church at 5413 16th Street Northwest has run a food pantry since the 1980s, providing a Ward 4 resource for food insecure individuals and families. The current proposal is to fund startup costs for a garden at the church to supply fresh produce to the food closet clients, address local food insecurity, and provide healthy food choices to clients. So this was the only project that was selected that wasn't in Ward 7 and 8, but I think it was a very strong proposal. And since it addressed food insecurity, and the group said that they were going to try to partner with food pantries in Ward 7 and 8, I think that's why the technical review committee selected this project. So congratulations, it's a wonderful project. It's very exciting. It was a very strong proposal. You included all of the details for the layout of the garden and a very thorough plan. So we're looking forward to seeing you putting this together. So thank you so much. So how can you guys, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, Allison is on the call. She said
Allison
no
is
one
on. Hey,
unmuted.
Allison.
Yeah. She was on, you have to unmute her. She said no one unmuted her.
Oh, she can
So
unmute
she couldn't
herself.
talk. So she's
Allison.
somewhere on the string.
Okay, let me see if I can find you, Allison. Hang on. Is your name on the screen? Because I don't see your name on here, but there are a lot of people who just have user or numbers on.
Why don't you explain how to unmute? Maybe that'll help her.
Oh, that's
Bottom left corner.
So if you look down on your screen, Allison, if you're on a computer, on the bottom of the screen, right on the left, there's a little microphone with the word mute under it, mute or unmute, and you can just unmute yourself if you want to try that. Or if somebody else wants to explain, do a better job explaining than I did.
No, that's good. If you're on a tablet, you might just tap the screen and you'll see a microphone. If there's a red X through it, tap that microphone and it will unmute.
All right, well, I'm going to keep going. Allison, if you manage to unmute yourself at any point, just interrupt us. We'd love to hear from you. Just to close this part of the meeting, I added this extra slide. How can other Master Gardeners get involved? You know, now we have 5 amazing projects that are going to be happening starting in the spring. I'm sure a lot of these project leads would appreciate some help from other Master Gardeners. They're going to have a lot of work to do. So maybe if you live in those wards or you're interested in those topics, if you work with compost, maybe reach out to Allison. If you work with vegetable gardening, maybe reach out to Sharon or Barbara, and you know, see if you want to support their project in any way. I'm sure they'd appreciate some support from some friends. And that's it. That's it from me. Do we have any other volunteer updates and announcements? Anybody want to unmute yourselves and share?
Well, I'm always happy to speak up. I've decided I'll do the first 3 Saturdays in March for anyone who wants to help get started on waking up the pollinator corridor down Connecticut Avenue. We're near a metro and we'll be getting soil ready maybe for some new tree boxes and also tending very gently to the ones. There are little crocuses already growing in snowdrops and some of them and tulips coming up and little daffodils. But there'll be some work to do. And I'd probably say, just suggest people send me an email. We can work on time. I'm pretty open, but we could try to get a critical mass. I could just suggest, you know, we could start like from 1 to 3, March 5th, Saturday, the 12th, the 19th, 1 to 3 those days. But let me know if you're available and I'll tell you which block to go to, because we have many places around that 1 mile on each side of Connecticut Avenue.
Great. Thank you so much, Kathy. That's great news. I'll send this out March 5th, 12th, and 19th, Saturdays from 1 to 3. And
And
for
then if they
those-
want to email me, I can tell them exactly where we'll go because I'll see what's in critical need or whatever.
Okay, so tell people to email Kathy to find out where to go. And for those of you who don't know Kathy, Kathy is our pollinator garden / corridor extraordinaire. And she has a lot of volunteer opportunities throughout the year. So I'm excited that they're starting up again. That's wonderful. Find out where to go. Oh, and Sharon just said,
I
thank you,
will
Patricia.
I will chime in.
Go ahead.
Oh, so of course, now that Marvin Gaye actually got this funding, we are going to really need a lot of volunteers to help install all these amazing perennial plants that we're going to be purchasing with your help. And Tim and I would love as much help as possible in, we're currently like full on. We meet twice a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays from 10 to 2 every Wednesday and Saturday. There's a work day because we have not only the perennial garden to put in, but our annuals to get seeded and transplanted and some of the beds to be improved. And so we're really looking forward to having a lot of help to install this new 2.0 of Marvin Gaye with all the perennials that we are so excited to grow now because of this. Right, Tim? Do you have anything to say, Tim?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Oh my God. So exciting.
Barbara, Tim, when are the volunteer days? When should we, how should people contact you?
Yes, so my email is paulsenbarb, PaulsenBarb @gmail.com. And if you email me with interest, I will put you on our Google group. And then when you, if you come for a volunteer day or a couple of times, you become a member of our GroupMe, which is our regular group that we have just to stay in touch about like what needs to be done every week. But we are full on now Wednesdays and Saturdays from 10 to 2 every week. And there's like we just took down the plastic on some of our hoop houses. We're getting ready for the spring and we're gonna need a lot of help.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Barbara. Thank you so much, Tim. Anybody else looking for volunteers?
Yeah, Patricia, when we get organized, I'll get a better request for volunteer help, which we certainly need it. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. I'll wait for updates from you then. Anybody else also looking for volunteers or anyone else with updates? Feel free to unmute yourselves, guys.
I'll sign up to the Wednesday with Paulsen, Barb, and Tim.
Wonderful, wonderful. That would be great. Moira, is that you, Moira?
That's
I'll
right.
look for you. Yeah, I'll look for you next Wednesday.
Okay.
Great. Yeah.
So I have to know the address.
It's oh, thank you. It's 5000 Nanny Helen Burroughs Avenue.
Okay. right.
It's right in front of the Deanwood Rehabilitation Center.
Okay. All right. Great.
Yeah, I'll see you, Moira.
Okay. Lovely.
And also, like, if you have my email, I can add you to the Google group.
Okay. Great.
All right. Anybody else? Oh, and for Lauren, did you say that for the folks with the Grow DC that there's going to be an orientation? You went over that already, right?
Yes, so on March 3rd at 7:30 p.m. so that hopefully during the orientation, we can run through the priorities for getting the school garden connection going and answer questions. And by then, our master gardeners will have been introduced via email to their school garden coordinator. So
Cool. All right. So
Very
those are, thanks, Lauren. So those are the next steps for Grow DC. Next steps for folks who got the grants. You'll be getting an email from me in about 10 minutes with next steps. If you have any questions, feel free to, call or email me anytime. And unless anybody has anything else, I think we can wrap up 10 minutes early today. Any final words? Anyone?
Well, congratulations to everyone.
Congratulations.
To everyone
Congratulations,
who,
everybody.
and to those who put together a proposal.
Congratulations, everyone.
Yes,
Everybody who put one together.
Congratulations to everyone.
Yeah.
Congratulations. The proposals were all very good. It was very hard to decide, I was told. All right. Well, good night, everybody.
Bye.
Let's get excited for spring. Bye, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Congratulations. Good night.